Thank you, President Barnes, Trustee Merkel, the administration, faculty, staff, Board of Trustees. Thank you so much for the honorary degree. It's very surreal to be graduating with you today. I may be a little bit older, but it took a long time to get here. But it's so surreal to be here today. But good morning, class of 2019. Today is your day. I'm so proud of all of you. I'm sure it took me 49 years to earn my honorary doctorate. When I was in school, I struggled with ADD and dyslexia before educators and doctors really knew about learning differences. Back in my day, they gave me Benadryl in class to calm down. The honorary doctorate I received today really means the world to me, so thank you again so much for letting me be part of your graduating class today. It did take me 49 years. Endicott College is a fantastic school. While I wasn't fortunate enough to attend, my daughter Haven is a student here. She just spent a semester in Spain through Endicott's international program, and it was an incredible cultural experience traveling through Europe. So thank you, Endicott, for providing her that opportunity. My daughter has told me that Endicott encourages innovation, creativity, and outside-the-box thinking. We are so proud to have her attend this incredible institution. I'm excited to share my story, and I hope that I can be a source of inspiration. Because if there's one thing I'm sure of, it's that if I can come from humble beginnings and work my way to success, I know that each and every one of you can be successful in your journey as well. A lot of people think only the lucky among us achieve great success. I believe that's not true. It's the folks with a combination of creative ideas, courage, and the willingness to work hard for what they want. The funny thing about luck is the harder you work, the luckier you become. Today, I will try to share with you my personal life's journey as an entrepreneur in 12 minutes. I'm also going to share with you how a little creativity and a splash of ingenuity can lead to hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. I grew up a poor kid in a small country town in Andover, Connecticut, with my mom and two sisters. I would often take apart my mother's antique clocks. Sometimes I would put all the gears back together, sometimes I wouldn't. I just always had this insatiable curiosity for the way things worked. When I was a kid growing up, I used to go to the dump and get old lawnmowers to build go-karts. And I started building these go-karts, and I would sell them to other kids in my neighborhood. And then in the wintertime, I would go in the woods and pick princess pine and make Christmas wreaths to sell door to door in my neighborhood. And then when I needed more distribution, I realized I should be selling these to real estate companies. So I grew my Christmas wreath business to a much bigger business. In high school, I took a vacuum cleaner to a ladies' beauty salon, and I asked if I could clean out ladies' cars while they were getting their hair done. And the lady looked at me like I was crazy, but there was a customer sitting there that said, "Hey kid, you can clean out my car for 10 bucks, my car's a mess." And after that, my car cleaning business grew to 8 guys working for me in high school. We started doing car dealerships cars, and exotic cars were being shipped to us. After high school, I sold that business, and I started bartending. I sold the business, I bought a new car, I bought a house in Rhode Island, and I paid for my first year of college on my own. I started bartending at the Clark Cookhouse in Newport, Rhode Island, which was an incredible experience learning about people. While I was there would be lots of gentlemen coming in and ladies drinking lots of champagne and making all kinds of money. Of course, I was always very curious about business. I would ask, "How are you guys making all this money?" And their answer to me was, "We're in the fashion jewelry business." And at the time, in 1989 and 90, Providence, Rhode Island was the fashion jewelry capital of the world. The Italian immigrants moved to Providence, Rhode Island, and began opening factories where they would manufacture fashion jewelry. So I was very curious about the jewelry business. So I always thought I was going to be a jet fighter pilot, but I ended up in the fashion jewelry business. So I designed a little angel pin on a bar napkin while I was bartending one day, and I thought in 1989 there was Desert Storm where the economy was bad and people needed some hope. And I thought this little pin would give people hope. And my mom had a friend that had a print shop, and so she had some cards printed for me that said a guardian angel to watch over you. So I made up a list from the yellow pages, there was no internet then, of 300 gift stores. I went store to store with my list, checking them off as I went to each store. The 204, after everyone kept saying no to me, the 201st store I went to bought a dozen of these angel pins for $22.80. This is where failure cannot compete with persistence. After that, to make a long story short about the angel pin business, it grew to $30 million in sales. And that business was the only greeting card that was ever sold in 7,000 Hallmark stores that wasn't a Hallmark card. But the greatest discovery while I was in Newport was meeting my wife, who is my business partner, my best friend, and who has been by my side every step of the way for the past 26 years. We have 4 talented, smart, and beautiful daughters who have also been incredibly supportive throughout our journey. That's the love story part. Now, the journey isn't always smooth. The angel business pin transitioned into a family business. Now, you can imagine how difficult it is to be in business with your family. So my wife and I left the angel pin business to my family and left all the money behind. And we started over again on our own with a coffee can full of quarters. So we went from growing up a poor kid to making a lot of money to being poor again. We ate a lot of macaroni and cheese and started a new business. We started a company called Friends Marketing. Friends Marketing is a company that focused on fashion jewelry trends. So my wife had invented a friendship pin, which was a little safety pin with beads on it. And we made these little pins at our kitchen table day and night. And we went to Staples and we put the pins on a copy machine and we made black and white copies of the pins to make our catalog. So it wasn't perfect, but it would do. We went to trade shows and we stood in the aisles and we worked incredibly hard on our feet all day, selling to people. Finally, we got a major retailer, which was American Greetings, to carry our friendship pins. And from there, we went on to start various fashion jewelry trends, such as the Italian charm bracelet, the power bracelet. And we grew the business to become QVC's largest fashion jewelry vendor, which is a home shopping network, which is today an $11 billion business, QVC's shopping network. It's an incredible platform and a great distribution channel to build a brand. So fast forward, as I was working at QVC, for 10 years I was on air. We would design the products, manufacture the products, sell them the products, and then go to QVC and go on air and sell the products for them. So it was really having to be a jack of all trades to do it. And then I said to QVC, I met my neighbor who is a co-founder of Halo and my business partner today. And we were talking on the driveway, and I said, you know, I really love electronics and gadgets and gizmos, and I have an idea for an electronics company, and I really want to start an electronics company. You know, would you be interested in helping? And he said, sure, let's do it. What do you want to call it? And I said, I'd love to call it Halo, which was from the angel pin business. I thought Halo would be a great name. So I went to QVC and I said, I'd love to start an electronics business. And they said, you can't just start an electronics business. There's Bose and Dell and Samsung and Sony. And I said, well, they all had to start somewhere. And they said, well, what do you know about electronics? And I said, well, I know I love them, and I know I can find people to help me to build them. So they said, okay, you have a good track record here, a good batting average. We'll let you present your idea for your electronics company to the top executives at QVC. So we pitched Halo, and in the PowerPoint presentation, which we still have in our office today, we said, we'd like to create a doorbell where you could see who's at the front door on your phone and tell who's there. And they said, no one's going to rewire their doorbell in their front door. That will never work. So they said, what's your next idea? So I said, well, the next one is, we think that people would love to control their heat from their phone, and we'll work with someone like Honeywell or a thermostat company, and we'll build a Wi-Fi thermostat. And they said, that will never work, too much install. No one's going to change their thermostat. So the next one, my business partner and I created, we put together this thing which was a block of power, and it was portable power, and it was all duct taped together, and it looked like a brick. And I said to them, I really think that in the future, there's going to be a need for power on the go, that people are going to have mobile devices and really count on them to be living their lives and running their businesses on the go. And they're going to need this type of device. It's really going to solve a problem for people. And one of the executives in the room said, it will never work. And I said, why do you think it will never work? And he said, well, when I was in business school, we really studied that, you have to look at your competition, which is true. You do have to look at your competition. And he said, your competition is everywhere. And I didn't know what he was going to say next because we were the first to ever invent portable power and file a patent for it. So I thought, what do you mean our competition is everywhere? He said, look around this room. You see these wall plugs everywhere? And this was someone running, an $11 billion company who I respect. He said, see these wall plugs everywhere around this room? That's your competition. People are going to plug in their phone when it needs to be charged. So your idea will never work. Now, one of the other guys who actually went to the same school with him, a business school, said, you know what? I think it will work. He said, can you make it small enough to fit in your pocket? And we said, yes, we're going to try to make it small enough to fit in your pocket. He said, then I think you should go for it, and I think it's going to work. So he gave us a chance and an opportunity to go for it. So next I said, well, I would like to do this in pink leopard and purple and all these crazy colors. And he said, well, you can't do that because electronics come in black or silver, and that's it. Now, the other guy who said the competition was everywhere, he's now getting into it. He said, well, you know what? Apple did something really crazy. They made a computer in white. So they said, you can do it in white if you want. So we launched our first Halo in white on TV, and it didn't work. It was a complete bomb. And usually on television, when it's a one and done. If you fail, it's hard to get a second chance. So we fought for that second chance and said, we really need to get her as a customer. She's busy, she's a mom, she's working. Her life is incredibly busy, but we need to get this in her hands so she can see how great this would be. But it also needs to be beautiful. So from the jewelry background, I said, I really know what works on TV and fashion jewelry. Give me a chance to do this in crazy colors. So they said, okay, you can ship in 60,000 pieces in these crazy colors if you want, but it's 100% returnable and it's on your dime. So I looked at my business partner and said, okay, well, we're going to have to get some of our money out of the bank and try this. So we did. We sent it in, 100% returnable. It sold out in 4 minutes, 60,000 pieces. Next, I went to the CEO at QVC, and I said, what's the most you've ever sold of anything in your 26-year history at QVC? He said, well, 26 years ago, when we first started, there was a telephone answering machine that came out. And we sold 100,000 pieces in a weekend. And he said, we've never sold any more of anything ever since then in that short of a time. I said, well, I would like an order for 300,000 pieces. And he said, that I want to sell in one day. And he said, how do you think you can ever sell 300,000 pieces in one day? Well, I spent 10 years backstage in that studio watching all the graphs and monitors and all the mathematics that went into selling on QVC. And there's a thing called DPMs, dollars per minute, and it's how we run our business today, in dollars per minute. What do we do today for dollars per minute? So then I said, I have 4 minutes of data, dollars per minute, that tells me I can sell 300,000 pieces in a day. And he said, well, it's never been done. And I said, well, now's the time to do it. So after months of negotiating, he finally said, I'll give you the order for the 300,000 pieces, but you have to cover 50% return rate, meaning if it doesn't work, you're going to be stuck with 150,000 pieces. that would be very tough to sell to anyone. So I looked at my business partner again and said, boy, you're either going to be really happy you met me, or this is going to be the worst day of our lives. So we took all our money, all our kids' college money, all our life savings, and we ordered from China 18 tractor truck trailer loads of lipstick size tube of Halo portable power. We were either going to make it, or basically our finances were going to perish. So we shipped them in, and on QVC, you really know in the first 30 seconds if you're going to make it or not. So on that day, we sold $18 million in 4 hours. $18 million is a pretty good hourly rate to work for. So we sold out of them, and we broke a television record that has never been done before on television. And selling those, I went back to the CEO at QVC, and I said, I'd like an order for 1 million pieces to sell in one day. He said, you shut down our call center, our call servers, our order, all our systems on that last order. You can't sell that many in one day. And so he said, but what I will do is I'll let you double them up, increase the price to slow down the call volume, and I'll give you an order for 380,000 pieces. And I said, okay, that time, but now it's 0% return. So we got the order, we went on TV, we broke our own record, and we did $24 million in just over 4 hours. So graduates, there are hundreds of thousands of opportunities in the world today. Problems that need to be solved, things that need to be improved, lives that can be made easier. With that, remember, you're probably too young to remember, but our parents used to carry luggage around with no wheels. And one day someone said, hey, we should put some wheels on that. These are great problems to solve, you know, and great patents to get issued. I encourage you to always look for opportunities to create solutions. If you can imagine it, you can achieve it. Be the optimist. Believe in your solutions. You are the master of your own journey. Guide it where you want it to go. When you have a job one day, roll up your sleeves, go the extra mile, do the boss's homework, do the customer's homework. Always go above and beyond, and use your superpowers, because you all have superpowers, to do things other people can't or aren't willing to do. Be the mastermind. Surround yourself with smart people who you can learn from, who are strong in areas that you may feel weak. Create your own opportunities, and don't be afraid to start over. Don't let failures hold you back, because the seeds of failures can be used in equal or greater benefits on the journey to success. Allow yourself to become comfortable in the uncomfortable. This is often where the magic happens. Don't take no for an answer. In fact, if you're hearing no, or that something is impossible, just know you are on the leading edge of innovation, and it is possible. Remember, it always starts with an idea. Dream it, draw it, sell it, make it. Congratulations, class of 2019. You made it. I wish you all the best. Thank you.